VexVR activity challenge number 10. We have the disc mover challenge. I have opened up my information sheet. We're going to make sure we're in the disc mover playground. And just like the previous video, I've already gone through and written the code for this, but I'm going to talk you through what I'm doing as it simulates. So I've opened the disc mover. For level 1, we need to use the electromagnet, which is a new coding tool that we're going to use today, to pick up and place 3 discs of any color into any of the colored goals. So looking at my playground, I have 3 blue discs, I have 3 red discs, and I have 3 green. So we can pick any of these, 3 of any of these colors, put them in any one of the ones here. They just want to make sure we know how to use that electromagnet tool. We're also going to use something we used for the basketball drill vector activity of this repeat command and using some of the variables. And then just like the last activity, Storm the Castle, I'm going to be using the sensor, the down eye sensor, to detect color. So I start off as normal with setting my drive velocity, turn velocity to 100. And then since we're going to be using the repeat one, we need to set up our variable. So I'm going to collect the 3 blue discs for level 1. You can pick whatever color you want. But the first blue disc is 800 millimeters away because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 squares away. So I'm setting my first distance to 800. Then I'm using that repeat command just like we did before. And since there's 3 discs, I'm going to do it 3 times. This is where we now use that new command. It's the second one down, this blue, it's magnet. And we're going to energize magnet to boost. This means that the magnet is ready to pick up anything as soon as it goes over the top of it. And then we would drive forwards. Now, if we did this, it would just keep going forwards. But what we're going to do is it's going to wait until that down eye sensor, just like before, it detected red. This time you have to change it to blue or whatever color of disc that you're picking up. So you're picking up red, then that needs to be red. So since I'm picking up the blue ones, it's on blue. Then, once it picks it up, it's going to turn out 180 degrees, drive backwards the same distance that we just drove, and then energize magnet to drop. This is now releasing whatever it picked up, and it'll drop it wherever you are. So what this is doing, again, magnet's ready to pick something up. We're driving forward. We're waiting until the down eye detects blue. So when it gets to this first blue disc, it's going to suck it up with the magnet. We're then going to turn around 180 degrees, drive back the same distance that we just drove out, and then drop the disc back in our blue zone here. And then we're going to turn around 180 degrees to be facing backwards out. And we're going to be changing the distance by 400 because the difference between the first disc and the second disc is 2 squares or 400 millimeters. So that'll then allow us to go back out do the same thing we just did, except go 400 millimeters farther to the second one, and then a third time. So why don't we see what happens? See, we're going out, we'll hit play, picked up our first disc, come back, place it in the square. There's our second one. And we're going out, we're getting the third one. And lastly, I have at the bottom, after these 3 repeats, we're going to drive forward 200 millimeters. Just because if we didn't, your Vex robot would be right on top of these discs, and I wouldn't really be able to see them. So this is just kind of for your visual, so you can actually see that they're there. And that's level 1. For level 2, we're going to be using, again, the electromagnet. We're going to pick up and place 1 disc of each color inside the matching colored goal. Each colored goal should have 1 disc matching the color of the goal to complete this challenge. So this is saying that we need to have 1 blue disc in the blue goal, 1 red disc in the red goal, 1 green disc in the green goal. This code's actually going to be a little bit easier to write than our previous one. And it's going to also be easier if we don't use that repeat command or the variables. All I did for this one is I kept my set drive velocity, set turn velocity to 100. And then I kept what was inside the repeat of energizing the magnet to boost. So we're picking up a disc, driving forwards till our down eye senses that color blue, and then turning around, driving backwards, and and then energizing the magnet to drop. So we dropped the disc in our colored goal. But then what I added right here is this turn left for 90. So now I'm facing towards the red goal, driving forward for 800 millimeters. That's going to get us in line with the red discs. Then turning left for 90 degrees. So after that, we then would be facing our red disc in the same spot that we're facing in our blue goal right now. So again, it's very similar to the basketball drills of you go out in a distance, you come back, you turn, you go over to the next spot, you go out that same distance, come back, turn, and do it a third time. And then again, rather than dragging out and writing all these codes again, what I did was once I was at my new spot, I went up and where it says energize magnet to boost, you can right click, you can hit duplicate, and it'll copy all that code for you. Now I don't need all this code again, but I was able to get from energize magnet to boost all the way down until I was in my next spot. And the only thing I changed in between there, see, so all this code here, that's the first one for the blue. Scroll down, it's the same code all the way to turn left to 90 degrees again, but except the only thing I changed was detecting the color. Instead of blue, now we need red. And I duplicated again for a third time, and it detected the green. Okay, so again, if you need to, use that right click, duplicate for your code so you don't have to drag and drop each one separately. Okay, so this code should be correct for our challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and hit simulate, and I'll scroll down on the left so you can follow with the green so you can see what part we are on as the code is going through. So here we go, let's hit play. All right, so it's going on, it's going to drive forward, detects blue, comes back, we're dropping off, turning left, now we're in that new spot, and the code just repeats, except for red. Again, a third time, going here, same thing, now code just repeats for green. And again, it's right at the end, I drove forward that 200 millimeters again so we could see that last disc in our goal. So again, here's one more look at the code. It's the same thing 3 times, we're just changing the color that our down eye is detecting. So that is it for level 2. Let's go take a look at level 3. Using using an electromagnet, pick up and place one disc of each color inside each colored goal. So each of these goals right here should have one green, one red, and one blue disc to complete the challenge. So the only difference you would have to do here is now that I have one of each color in the goals, you have to add in, okay, now I go up again and I pick up the second green, and I take this second green over to the blue and I drop it. So this code is going to be pretty long. Again, if you want to use the repeat, you can try doing that. That may shorten the code you're writing, but it's going to be a little more challenging to really visualize where our VexVR robot's driving. Because this is a little bit longer one, that's why you have more time to complete the assignment. But remember, if you close out of this, it may not save your code. So if you're not going to complete it all at once, maybe take a picture, take a couple of screenshots of what your code looks like so you know what you've done. But I'm not going to go and do this because you should know how to do this after doing level 2. It's just a longer code and a longer challenge. So please let me know if you have any questions. Ask me in class, come to my office hours. If not, I'll see you for the next challenge. Good luck, and thanks for watching.